Hey guys and girls, Boardnell back with you. On this video I'm going to be talking about a new streaming movie which is called Grace Point. So it's a movie which has been released onto streaming platforms this week, and it's a simple setup. You have a father and son who are driving to a drug rehab facility. So the son, Brandon, is the one who's trying to recover from drug abuse. He lost his mother in the past, and they're driving through this small southern town when they run into these crooks, and the father is shot. He's seemingly dead, although there's a bit of mystique around that. Chase after the son, partly because he's filmed the whole thing and they want the footage, him trying to find out if the father's still alive, and also to get to safety and get to this drug rehab, which is in the town Grace Point, which is where the title of the movie comes from. So there's a bit of a Brat Pack connection to this movie, as in the 80s group of actors, because the father is played by Andrew McCarthy, who was a member of that group, and the lead, who plays Brandon, is the son of Rob Lowe, who of course was also in that group of 80s actors. For wrestling fans, former wrestler James Storm plays one of the crooks. He was best known in TNA as a member of the America's Most Wanted tag team. Just a nerdy bit of wrestling trivia there for you. Before I go any further, I will thank my friend and sometime collaborator Media Melody for getting me the preview of this movie. So I will link her channel in the description because it's worth checking out. Thanks for her for getting me this screener. But yeah, unfortunately the movie is pretty lame. It's pretty cliched. It's very low budget, which you can tell from the start, and that doesn't necessarily have to mean bad. Don't really use what they have very well. One of the worst cliche is just how cliche like everybody in this southern town is. Like there's some really bad stereotypes considering this is like a modern movie. So you've got this character, for example, of Carter, who I forgot to mention, but he's the one who helps Brandon out, and they kind of open up to each other. And at first, I think his name's Carter, but at first he's this army type guy, quite muscly, and at first he says he's not going to help Brandon out because he doesn't want to mess with like the local gang. When Brandon's in danger, he does help him out. But like that character right there, is that his southern accent was really bad, and he just talked in all these sort of cliched. He does these grand speeches, and he just a lot of cheesy like dialogue. There's a lot of bad dialogue in the movie in general, because like at the start when you've got the father and son in the car, like Brandon says, "I hope I don't get dope sick." There's another line where he's talking about, well, I'm just going to have to piss myself like if the father doesn't pull over. And that's the thing, like at the start of this movie, Brandon is acting like he's, I don't know, like 15, and in reality, because he's treated almost like he could be like a teenager, but to me the actor definitely looks at least in his early 20s. Story just plays out in this very predictable way than you've seen like 100 times before. So you get like a campfire scene where Brandon starts opening up to, again, I think his name's Carter, but like they start telling their life stories. And unfortunately you get two of those scenes, because you get another one later on when they're both in a jail cell, and you kind of have the same thing, like a heart to heart, and those scenes just drag. There's a lot of cheesy dialogue in the movie, a lot of melodrama. You get these really bad soapy flashback scenes where Brandon is like remembering what happened the night his mother died, and those scenes aren't needed in the movie. Like, they really dragged the movie down. You could just have them explained. You also have this movie's version of Run, Forrest, Run, with Run, Brandon, Run, and the way the movie opened, and then that whole thing of, well, 4 days later. That stuff is so cheesy and bad. The big problem is the lead as well, because, like, based on this movie, Rob Lowe's son really can't act. Like, he's very wooden, he's very one note. I don't think he's right for the role. Like, it's funny that his name's Brandon, because he does look like this more like dry version of like Jason Priestley. Like, he looks like the third or fourth choice for Brandon Walsh on 90210, but he does look too pretty and too sort of clean cut. The film doesn't give you enough of a reason to care about this character. Like, what they give him, like, he's on his way to rehab, he's got a drug issue, he lost his mother when he was young. All these are just, you know, you've been there, done it before. And unfortunately, there's not enough of a personality to make you care. And the other thing is there's not enough tension. Like, the action scenes are really badly done. They're really plodding and meandering. Like, there's a scene where he's running away and he runs into a barn, and there's a bike right there, and it takes him like a couple of minutes, and it's like, okay, I'll get on this bike. Because there's meant to be this tense scene when they're like chasing him and he's at the top of the hill. You know, if you give us the phone, we're not going to shoot you. And then he just dives down the hill and they're like, okay, let's go a different way. There's just no drama or urgency or tension to these scenes. Mostly the acting was bad. Like, Andrew McCarthy, I think, is fine. He does a solid job. Sophie, who Brandon meets in like the store when he goes to the bathroom, and there's a little bit of a flirtation between there. That actress was one of the better actors in the movie. Like, I think she had a decent amount of personality and played her part quite well. Later on, it's a little bit of a cliche with her where she's like reluctantly part of like the villains, but she wants to escape the town. She wants to escape with Brandon. So some of the direction, like the direction in the wood and some of like the nature scenes are fine, but there's just no tension to the actual like drama of the movie or to like the chase scenes, the action scenes. And in this sort of movie, that's the most important thing. So it really falls down because the lead actor isn't very compelling to watch. Don't have much mood or atmosphere. There's a lot of slow motion shots as well, which you don't really need, and they're a bit over-egged. Now, there is a big twist at the end of the movie, and that's okay. It's been done before, but this is a twist on it, at least. And where I'll give it credit is that when you see the twist and think about the rest of the movie, some of the stuff which maybe you think, okay, what's going on here? Why is that happening? And some of the holes, I think, they make more sense with the twist. So I'll give it credit with that, even though I don't necessarily love the twist. And yeah, no, it's a pretty bland and plodding experience. Very generic, very cheesy, as I said. A bit 3 out of 10. I'm not going to be super harsh because I know that some of the limitations are because of the budget. Seem worse as well, that's the point. But yeah, 3 out of 10 is about right for this. So Grace Point is on streaming now. Speaking of Rob Lowe, as I was before, this coming Thursday, I'm going to do a watch of a Rob Lowe movie on stream. I'm going to be watching the thriller Bad Influence, starring Rob Lowe and James Spader from the early 90s, a Curtis Hanson film. Like and subscribe. Let me know what you think of this film if you've seen it. As I said, it's now streaming. But thanks for listening, guys. See you soon. Bye.
I know it looks a little out there, but try and keep an open mind.
Welcome to Grace Point.
You know much about the rehab?
I'm not a druggie.
Dad! Brandon, run! Run! You're alive.
Welcome to Grace Point.